What's up everybody, welcome back to another DIY gym equipment tutorial. This time we're covering bumper plate storage for the floor, otherwise known as a toaster rack. This build was inspired by a post I saw on Reddit by the user Dewey Dude. It's a cool design and a bit different from the others I've seen, so I decided to build my own. The main benefit is being able to roll the bumper plates into place. It's so much fun, and honestly, I spent way too much time on this trick shot montage. Okay, let's get started. Oh hey! This project requires tools that can cause injuries, including amputations. Before you start, make sure you know what you're doing. DIY projects are awesome, but being safe is even more awesome. I'm making this toaster rack set to replace some I got for free with my bumper plates. It's always driven me crazy that the spacing isn't perfect and the 10s and 15s are not in the right order. As with most of my builds, there are a ton of different options you can go with. What I'm doing in this video is a set of toaster racks, one for each side of my power rack. A simpler version would be to include all of the plates in one rack. This is the sort of project that's made custom for the set of weights that you have, so I can't give you exact measurements. What I can say is that I'm starting off by cutting a 2x4 to 14¼ inches. This should work for most bumper plates. I'll need 14 of these, so I set up a jig to speed this process up. After those pieces are cut, I set everything up to determine the length of the 2x4 pieces for the front and the back. Quick tangent, while shooting this, I asked on Instagram if anybody had any questions that I should cover in the video. Arrogant Fool requested that I mention mistakes that I made in the build process. This was one of them. It was way too snug. Give yourself an extra 1/4 inch or an extra 1/2 inch. As a bonus, it totally helps with the toaster rack game. Once you know the length, you can cut them. I need 4 of these pieces. The defining feature of this design is the front 2x4 and the fact that it is laying down. We'll need to do a small cutout on the shorter 2x4s so they fit. I use my combination square to quickly mark my 1.5 by 3 inch cutout on each 2x4. I use a jigsaw to cut the pieces out. It is challenging to cut perfectly straight lines, but as long as you're close, it'll be fine. It also helps to cut using a fresh blade. The next cut we'll be making is a 45° angle just above the cutout. I create another jig using a scrap piece of 2x4 clamped to my table. Once you're done cutting those, you should have a bunch of pieces that look like this. I use my table saw set at a 45° angle to bevel the edges of the longer 2x4 pieces. This is not 100% necessary, but it does help with rolling the plates into place. I go over everything with a sander to get rid of splinters. When assembling, I attach the sides first, gluing before adding screws. My recommendation for the rest of the pieces is to put the weights in place before fastening anything. Once they're in, I add 2 screws to the back of each 2x4. I flip over the rack, put the weights in, and add a single screw to secure the front side. This screw goes in at an angle. I repeat this process with the other rack. On this one, however, I reverse the order of the plates. Again, once over with the sander. I'm using early American wood stain so it matches the power rack I'll be building next. After letting it dry overnight, these bad boys are ready to go. Here are a few other questions I got on Instagram about the build. Can it be made with wheels? Yes. Just make sure the casters are rated to hold the amount of weight that you're going to have on the rack. Adjustments to accommodate iron weight plates. You would follow the steps in this tutorial while using your iron set as the spacing template. Can the weights sit on the floor or should there be plywood on the bottom? Again, this is about preference. With the weights in, the toaster rack is easier to move around if there's plywood on the bottom. I don't want my moving around, so I skip the plywood. A big thanks to everyone who sent in pictures of their toaster racks. There's a lot of amazing talent out there. If you're not already following on Instagram, do it. It's a great place to share DIY ideas and get inspiration.